Star death and elements. So you're going to go ahead and navigate to this link and watch the video there. And when you're done and you're ready to check your answers, you can return here. So what is the relationship between outward pressure, the energy released in the core of a star, and the force of gravity? So as new elements are being fused in the core, they release lots and lots of energy. So this creates an outward pressure that pushes against gravity. So you have this outward pressure from all of the energy being produced in the core that's pushing outwards on the star, whereas gravity is pushing inwards. So when those two forces are in balance, the star is stable. So stage one of the fusion process is where hydrogen is being fused into helium. So hydrogen atoms have a proton and an electron. If you try to push together two protons, two positive charges, they're going to repel each other. So this fusion only happens at very, very high temperatures and pressures like we have in our sun. So our sun is currently in stage one. Every time two hydrogen nuclei fuse together, they release a whole bunch of energy, which you experience on Earth as the light and heat from the sun. Now, eventually, the star is going to run out of hydrogen. So this stops that fusion process, and the star then is going to be crushed or collapsed by gravity. So with that fusion stopped, there's no longer that outward pressure pushing against gravity. So there's nothing pushing out, and gravity is still pushing in, and this causes the star to collapse. Now, eventually, the star will compress so much that the temperature starts to go up again, and then we will notice that the fusion process will start back up, this time fusing helium into other heavier elements. So during helium fusion, we release more energy, so that temporarily stops that collapse of the star. So we have that outward pressure returning here, and we produce two new elements. So we start to produce elements like carbon and oxygen. Now, our sun is going to die after it runs out of helium, and that's because our star is pretty small compared to some of the ones that are out there. So because our sun is not massive enough, we can't achieve the compression necessary to fuse heavier elements. So more massive stars experience very strong gravity. So this is going to allow them to achieve the compression that is necessary for fusion. And finally, when the core of a star is converted into pure iron, fusion stops. There's no outward force to match gravity again. And the star is going to explode in a supernova. So this is how all of the elements were created. So after the Big Bang, we had all this hydrogen floating around. That hydrogen was drawn together by gravity and compressed until fusion started to occur. And so all of the other elements were made from that initial matter, from those hydrogen atoms that were created right after the Big Bang.